Hi, this is Eli Kranzberg, and welcome to this series on the Apogee FX plugins. This is going to be a fun series. I'm going to spend the first couple of videos going over how everything works, and then we're going to put them to work in a real mix. And I'm going to focus on using these natively within your DAW. They are available as dual path monitoring plugins that you can use with your Apogee hardware, but we're going to look at the general native use. Now here we're looking at the Apogee FX Rack, and this is kind of a container which can host up to 6 instances of any combination of these 5 Apogee FX plugins. Now you can use these individually as inserts within your DAW, and of course the advantage of using them within a rack like this is that you can easily save and recall complex processing chains in a single instance. For example, you could set up a vocal strip or a tom strip or an drum overhead strip or a guitar strip and just recall all your settings at once. Right now, we're looking at an empty effects rack, and we can enable or bypass the entire rack with this power button over here. Now, we load the effects in simply by clicking on them. So if I click there, I've now got a mod EQ, and we can see that that's the first plugin in the chain, and we can turn the whole rack on or off there, and then the individual plugins on or off with the power button. Now I can click the plus and then get my palette here and choose another one. Maybe I want that next. So I have my mod EQ and then that with individual power buttons. And I can add, of course, whatever combination I want. And then I can easily reorder and drag them around to easily audition and experiment with different processing orders. Now next here, we can click the Apogee logo to toggle between a light mode and a dark mode. So depending how you like to work, I think I'm going to leave it in the dark mode for now. And then right underneath, we have input and output metering to display the input level before all the effects. And this output meters post all of the effects in the chain. Now we can load in rack presets over here. And if I click, we'll see a menu of different factory presets. And it's asking me if I want to get rid of my unsaved work. And I'm going to click yes for now. But we can load in the different chains that way. And we can also easily save our own simply by clicking here and using the save function or save as. And there's even a show and finder if you want to back them up or transfer them to another system. And we have an A/B function here where we can audition and save changes. For example, let's say here on the mod EQ, it's got this curve, and maybe on the B version, I want to try a different type of setting like that. I can easily just move back and forth like that, and it'll save and recall the state of all the plugins within the rack. And then we have this copy button. Let's say I decide that I actually like this, and I'm going to copy that now to A. So now that's the same. And then I can continue and experiment maybe in something like that, and then recall this save change. So very functional and useful A/B feature. Now we have channel link in the native version of these plugins, which allows us to link the native and hardware DSP instantiations if you want to use the dual path monitoring. So for example, I am using some Apogee hardware, so I can, let's say, link that to analog 1, 2, and the interface changes here. And in this case, now I can monitor directly from my interface with this processing, and I can easily just switch that back to none. Now here we see a readout of the DSP load, the percent of the hardware DSP that's in use when we are using this for the dual path monitoring. And we also have hardware control meters here. We can toggle the right sidebar between the display of our metering for the plugin. And if I click here, we'll get the metering for the hardware where I can change my preamp gain, phantom power, high pass filter, and so on. So I can toggle back and forth between that and the plugin controls. And that's when we're using this channel link mode, which I'll disable for the moment. And when we're in this mode, in addition to the metering, we have input and output adjustments for trim, for gain staging. And on each plugin, we have the ability here to load, recall, and save different presets for these specific individual plugins. And they all have the same kind of setup over here on the right side. So that's the effects rack. We'll continue with more in the next video.